everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Sally, and every Friday we share with you the most bone-chilling horror sleep stories. So now, get ready to close your eyes, let your imagination run wild, and be transported to a world of terror and suspense. So, sit back, relax, and let the horror begin. Let's hear the story The Hunter of Ravenswood. For the better experience, please use headphones. The sun was setting on the small, isolated town of Ravenswood. The quiet streets were empty, and the only sounds that could be heard were the chirping of crickets and the rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze. People in the town always made sure to be inside before dark, for they knew that the darkness brought with it a terror that no one dared to face. For generations, the town had been plagued by a creature of the night, a vampire who fed on the blood of the innocent. The townspeople had tried everything to get rid of the monster, but nothing seemed to work. They had tried garlic, holy water, and even silver bullets, but the creature was too powerful, too cunning. The vampire had claimed many lives over the years, and the town was beginning to believe that it would never be rid of its curse. But there was one man who refused to give up. His name was Thomas, and he was the town's last hope. He was a hunter, trained from a young age to track and destroy supernatural creatures. He had heard of the vampire in Ravenswood and had come to the town to try to rid it of its curse. Thomas arrived in the town at night, armed with a silver cross and a stake carved from the wood of a holy tree. He made his way through the empty streets, his senses alert for any sign of the vampire. He could feel its presence, a dark aura that hung over the town like a shroud. As he entered the outskirts of the town, he saw a figure moving in the shadows. Thomas drew his cross and held it aloft, its silver glow illuminating the darkness. The figure stepped into the light, and Thomas gasped in shock. It was a woman, the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. Her skin was pale, her hair was black as the night, and her eyes were the color of blood. The woman smiled at Thomas, revealing two sharp fangs.
"Welcome to Ravenswood,"
she said in a voice that was both alluring and deadly.
"I've been waiting for you."
"Stay away from me," he said. Thomas stepped back, holding his cross out in front of him. The woman laughed, a sound that sent shivers down Thomas's spine.
"I have no interest in you, Hunter. I want to help you, Thomas."
Thomas was skeptical. "Help me?" he said. Why would a vampire want to help a hunter?
"I need your help to destroy my master,"
she said.
"He is the true monster, the one who has been terrorizing this town for generations. I can show you where he is, but I cannot destroy him alone. You are the only one who can do it."
Thomas thought for a moment. He had come to Ravenswood to destroy a vampire, but if this woman was telling the truth, then he could destroy two monsters instead of one. He made his decision. "I'll help you," he said. The woman nodded, grateful.
"Thank you, Hunter. I will lead you to my master's lair. But be warned, he is very powerful. You must be prepared for anything."
Together, Thomas and the woman made their way to the vampire's lair, deep in the heart of the forest that surrounded Ravenswood. The journey was treacherous, as the forest was full of dangers, both natural and supernatural. But the woman was familiar with the path, and she led Thomas safely to the entrance of the lair. The entrance was a large, imposing stone door that was covered in ancient runes. Thomas felt a chill run down his spine as he approached the door. He knew that he was about to face a battle like no other, a battle that would test his skills and his bravery. The woman stood back, allowing Thomas to approach the door.
"The master is inside,"
she said.
But be careful, he is very powerful. I will wait here and keep watch.
Thomas nodded, and then he pushed open the door. The sound of the door creaking echoed through the chamber beyond, and Thomas stepped inside, his cross held aloft. The chamber was massive, and it was filled with a sickening aura of evil. Thomas could feel the master's presence, a dark, malevolent energy that threatened to overpower him. He took a deep breath and stepped forward, his eyes scanning the room for any sign of his enemy. In the center of the room, he saw a figure standing in the shadows. It was the master vampire, a towering monster with skin as black as coal and eyes that glowed red. The creature let out a roar of fury as it saw Thomas, and it lunged forward, its massive claws ready to tear him apart. Thomas stood his ground, his cross held aloft. He began to chant an ancient incantation, a spell that would banish the creature back to the realm of darkness. The master vampire hesitated, its claws inches from Thomas's throat, and then it let out a scream of rage and disappeared into the shadows. Thomas breathed a sigh of relief and turned to leave the chamber, but as he reached the door, he heard the master vampire's voice behind him. "You may have defeated me, Hunter," the creature said, "but you will never be rid of me. I will return, stronger than before, and I will destroy you." Thomas turned and faced the master vampire, his cross held aloft. "I will be ready," he said. The master vampire let out a final roar of fury, and then it was gone, banished back to the realm of darkness. Thomas emerged from the chamber, triumphant, and he found the woman waiting for him.
"You did it!"
she said, a smile of relief on her face.
"You destroyed the master!"
Thomas nodded, still catching his breath. "It was a hard-fought battle," he said. "But it was worth it to rid this town of its curse." Together, Thomas and the woman made their way back to Ravenswood, where the town was just beginning to stir. The sun was rising, and the townspeople were emerging from their homes, their eyes full of wonder. They had heard the roar of the master vampire, and they knew that the town was finally free from its curse. As Thomas and the woman approached the town, they were greeted with cheers and applause. The townspeople thanked Thomas for his bravery, and they welcomed the woman as a hero. And as they stood there, in the light of the rising sun, Thomas knew that he had finally found a place where he belonged. From that day forward, Thomas stayed in Ravenswood, where he lived out the rest of his days as a hero. And the woman, the once vampire, became a respected member of the community and eventually fell in love with Thomas. Together, they worked to keep the town safe from all supernatural threats and to protect the people of Ravenswood from any future curses. Years passed, and Thomas and the woman grew old and gray, but their love for each other never faded. And as they sat on the porch of their home, watching the sun set over Ravenswood, they knew that they had lived a full and happy life, surrounded by friends and family. Before they passed, they made sure to pass on their knowledge and skills to a new generation of hunters, to ensure that Ravenswood would always be protected. And as they took their final breaths, they were comforted by the knowledge that they had left a lasting legacy, and that the town they loved would be forever safe from the darkness that once threatened it. And so, the legend of Thomas, the vampire hunter, lives on, a testament to the bravery and determination of one man who stood against the forces of evil and emerged victorious.